Well, as I sit here out in this beautiful setting, I love getting outside. I love getting out in nature, and being in the city, it's challenged me, this country boy who just naturally connects with the Lord in nature. It's just a little bit of a challenge to get out here, but thankfully I have some time to do that. And what a beautiful backdrop this is with the ocean, and just this beautiful day. But as I sit here and as I take some time, my own personal devotional time with the Lord, just to sit with Him, to open my heart up to God and whatever He might have for me, I want to read Psalm 51, which is the text we'll be in this week. I'm going to read the whole thing for you, and then I'll have some comments after. But it's an amazing psalm, so let me read that for us. Psalm 51. To the choir master, a psalm of David, when Nathan the prophet went to him after he had gone in to Bathsheba. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your steadfast love. According to your abundant mercy, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against you, you only have I sinned, and done what is evil in your sight, so that you may be justified in your words and blameless in your judgment. Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, you delight in truth in the inward being, and you teach me wisdom in the secret heart. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones that you have broken rejoice. Hide your face from my sins, and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me with a willing spirit. Then I will teach transgressors your ways, and sinners will return to you. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O God of my salvation, and my tongue will sing aloud of your righteousness. O Lord, open my lips, and my mouth will declare your praise. For you will not delight in sacrifice, or I would give it. You will not be pleased with a burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. Do good to Zion in your good pleasure. Build up the walls of Jerusalem. Then will you delight in right sacrifices, and burnt offerings, and whole burnt offerings, and then bulls will be offered on your altar. Well, Psalm 51 is a challenging psalm. It's a deep psalm, but what an amazing psalm it is. It's a psalm of individual lament, a psalm of David lamenting his own waywardness, his sinfulness, his rebellion from the loving God that he knows. But it's also something that David wrote down, and he wrote it as he probably remembered and thought on his own waywardness, but it was meant to be practiced and sung as a community. So there's an individual aspect, but also a community aspect to it. But I challenge you this week, do the hard work, the heart work, to look within. That's the challenge of this text, is to look within, to look at the ugliness that is just beneath the surface, or maybe it's out of the surface. Maybe the quarantine has called it out of hiding in you. But in this challenging season, I think it's really important for us to look within, to look at our tendency towards sinfulness and turning from God's standard to His way of living, and to look at the root issues, to look at why are those things coming up? Why are those things showing up in my life? And to come clean with the Lord. There's such value in just coming clean with the Lord and coming clean with yourself, with your own heart. Maybe you need to come clean with some others you've impacted. But do the hard heart work, invite God, invite the Holy Spirit into those moments of reflection with you, contemplation, introspection with you, and ask God to reveal that stuff. But also understand that God has work to do in the midst of that. Just like David mentions in here, as you are looking at the reality of sin in your own life, the ugliness that is there, beg God to create in you a clean heart and to restore you, to transform you, to renew you, because that's what the Holy Spirit's doing. That's the work of the Spirit in us, is to make us more and more like Jesus as our days go on, as we spend time struggling with this life and the fallenness that it represents. So do that hard work. Look at the truth. Be honest about the truth. Confess that. Come clean with the Lord. Come clean with yourself. And come clean with others. But then ask God to do that heart work, that heart transformation work, to create a clean and new heart, to renew you by His Spirit, because that's what God is in the business of doing, is changing us. So have a wonderful week, and maybe you can make this a daily practice to just read this psalm and ask God to do business with you and be honest with Him. But we love you. Pour yourself into the Psalms. We'll talk to you soon.